Navy SEAL who could survive a week training with me.
My swim buddies, they die every single year. Do you have any idea what that means?
Because that is one of the worst representations of the SEAL community possible.
That guy.
Yeah, he needs to shut the f
This is some spicy drama that's coming from the Valuetainment podcast, which is a podcast that is run by a gentleman named Patrick David Bett, PDB for short. And essentially he is an Army veteran, and that's his claim to fame. Along with that is entrepreneurship and things like that. So he's had a good network of people that have been on both sides of the fence of both of those communities and able to relate to them. However, that's where this entire debacle comes up as the drama unfolds on the Valuetainment podcast. And essentially, we're seeing some riffraff between two Navy SEALs that you're seeing a division of what should be a brotherhood.
Have you seen this or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sean Strickland says this, and this one has a follow-up with a Navy SEAL guy in the back of it. But he didn't, he said something. Well, I'll just let him tell you what he said about Navy SEAL.
I don't think there's one Navy SEAL who could survive a week training with me. I'm kind of sick of seeing it, because, like, you guys think you're badass, come train with me for a week. I'll show you what's up. I'll you.
Sean, we get it. You're a badass, bro. But check it out. Your training partners get millions of dollars, and they actually live. My swim buddies, they die every single year. Do you have any idea what that means? We've already proven that any kind of beatdown will not break us, but our training will simply just end your career, Sean. I'm talking about skin grafts on the thighs. Sean, you talk about taking people's souls from their body. Well, me and my boys, we've actually taken a lot of real souls from people. You know what I'm saying, bro? Your training is absolutely brutal, man. We get it. I understand. But your training doesn't kill dudes every single year. And that's the world that we live in, brother. My best advice for you, Sean, is to stay in the octagon, keep fighting for that next purse. And us SEALs, we'll keep fighting for your freedom, brother. Sean, now you got the whole SEAL team mad at you. Come on, man. I thought we were friends, bro. Goggins is not going to answer because he's on a freaking ultra marathon running through the freaking Mojave Desert. You're not that crazy, Sean. I'll answer you because I'm trying to get my life back together after the FBI stole 3 years of it. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about 1 week of your hard training, Sean, and then 1 week of our hard training. Your training is absolutely brutal, but it's in an air-conditioned building in Vegas. What? Our training is in 3 places: the sea, air, and land at the same time, homie. We run up to 250 miles in 1 week with a 250-pound boat on your head, and we don't sleep at all during that week. Maybe about 45 minutes. You go home every single night and sleep. Referee will stop you because you have something called rules, and then you get held as some type of hero afterwards. Me, we get shot in the SEAL teams, we gotta fight our way out, we gotta do 15 more clicks to the DZ, and there ain't no mommy and daddy clapping us over the finish line. You know what I'm saying, bro? We eat, sleep, and breathe pain, but we don't sleep. So it's just 2 of those. You're not going to war, bro. You go all out in the octagon because you know you're not going to die. SEALs embrace death every deployment so that we have the ultimate victory in battle. You understand what I'm saying, brother? You're not that crazy, Sean. You see this eye, not this eye right here. Now that's freaking crazy, homie. You handle pain because you know you're not going to die, because a referee's going to stop you, and then you're going to be held as a hero afterwards for some weird reason. SEALs embrace death every single deployment to have absolute total victory, and we don't care if we die.
I understand what he is saying. He is talking about physically fighting in a ring. Comparison is the thief of joy. We can all agree upon this. You can't compare training to be a UFC fighter with the training of SEAL training or anything that the occupation that comes from after that. It's not a fair comparison. I understand exactly what he was saying. And he basically, at the end of it, he was like, dude, come out and like watch a fight week. Because I'm like, hey, I have enough TBI and concussion. I don't need you punching me in the head.
Yeah.
And he was totally professional, totally kind about it. He's playing a character. It's part of who he is and what he does inside of the UFC. If you think that the SEAL or the guy who was a SEAL that responded to him is also not playing a character, then I don't know what to tell you, because that is one of the worst representations of the SEAL community possible.
That guy.
Yeah, he needs to shut the up.
He's a Navy SEAL?
He was, who gives a what the job title used to be? Maybe Google if the guy spent time in prison for fraud. That'd be a good start for people when they want to listen to what he has to say about the SEAL community and taking souls and all these things. It's like, dude, you're a professional soldier. Stop being a clown on Instagram. And the only reason that he is responding in the manner that he is to try to draw more attention from the video that Sean created.
And that's because you are seeing right here Andy Stumpf, which you've probably seen on the Joe Rogan podcast, which should give also some kind of credibility as well. However, I do want to read a little bit of his bio so you can kind of understand why the hate from Andy Stumpf is coming so hard against his fellow veteran Navy SEAL as well. On his official website, it said that he became a SEAL or joined the military in 1996, completed boot camp. He did complete BUDS, and he actually graduated into SEAL Team 5 over in Coronado, California. However, that is not the only feat. You should see here, it says that in 2002, he screened for and joined the most elite counterterrorism unit in the military, SEAL Team 6. That should ring some bells for you. This unit is tasked with conducting the nation's most critical missions, many of which have become the focus of Hollywood movies and books. While on a combat deployment in Iraq, insurgents shot at Andy at close range with an AK-47. Doctors told him it would be years, if ever, before he recovered the use of his leg and returned to full active duty. So to give you some context, Andy's kind of a badass. He is kind of more the low-key social media presence type people from my experience watching some of the content, where he's not as flashy trying to show off everything. But this counterpart for this drama is where that is totally opposite. My 2 cents on this is there are 2 different things that you're fighting or training for or whatever on this spectrum. Because when you look at a UFC fighter, you are a person that is going into one set arena. You have set weapons, which are your fists, your feet, your knees, whatever, shoulders, you got, elbows, whatever you need to use to kind of get your way to win this match. And there are rules for that. Where a Navy SEAL is preparing for unknown variables, which is where that spectrum of everything could be, from an IED blast down to like close combat fighting like a UFC fighter, to artillery coming across, to small weapons fire, things like that, that there are so many other variables that are to be in consideration, that the level of training for that is very finite for a UFC fighter versus a Navy SEAL. And the other aspect of this is the professionalism of a Navy SEAL or any top tier level units in the military is to be the silent professional, because obviously that would make them a target, because there are people really out there that want to truly kill you, not just beat you up in a ring. On top of that, I will say the other aspect of the UFC fighters are to rally up, create a persona, to try and sell tickets and hype around their fighting skills in order to make sure they still have a job. They're 2 totally different aspects, and we have to respect that both can live in the same ecosystem of the world, and they're not exactly the same.
We've taken souls. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Like, dude, it's... Go write a Hollywood movie if you want to talk about it like that.
Yeah.
It just, that stuff absolutely...
Why does that upset you? What part upsets you?
Because it nauseates me. I was a professional soldier, not a psychopath. I am not out there trying to delicately navigate my way through the spiritual universe and take this soul and that soul and then... It's like, dude, most of the time, maybe if I had a half a second to make a decision in a life and death matter, I was happy. Sometimes you come, you're like, the guy surprises you with a gun. It's not about, it's about doing your job in support of the overall mission, which is in support of the overall theater guidance, which is in support of the overall policy of the United States of America. It's just, this stuff gets romanticized. It gets portrayed poorly in Hollywood movies. And it's just like, just take the drama down. You're at a 10, sir. I need you at a 2.
Exactly.
Now, to get you on the train of understanding of the Jimmy Watson hate here, it is because he has been known to be a shady character. When I first saw this guy on TikTok, he was wearing an ankle bracelet. You could look back. If you would like me to cover more into the Jimmy Watson situation, I definitely will. It's just too much to include in this beef, where you should probably understand that his track record has been kind of all all over the place, from being a Marine to being part of the Navy SEALs to being part of Blackwater to now being sued for this. There was just too much to cover that the story is just convoluted. However, he is not wrong that this guy has been charged with some crimes by the SEC. It says SEC obtains final judgment against individual in ICO promotion scheme, files notice of death as to John McAfee, resulting in dismissal of claims. However, it says on July 14th, 2022, the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of New York entered a final consent judgment against Jimmy Gale Watson Jr. for his role in John McAfee alleged initial coin offering promotion and scalping scheme. On October 5th, 2020, the commission filed a complaint alleging that McAfee, with Watson's assistance, promoted investments in ICOs to McAfee's Twitter followers without disclosing that they were paid to do so. The complaint alleged that Watson assisted McAfee by negotiating the promotion deals with the ICO issuers and helping McAfee cash out the crypto payments for the promotions, among other things. McAfee and Watson also allegedly engaged in separate scheme to profit from crypto asset security by secretly accumulating a large portion of McAfee's accounts, touting the security on Twitter while intending to sell it, and then selling McAfee's holdings as the price rose. He was then ordered to pay the disgorgement of $316,000 and a prejudgment interest of $59,000. The final judgment also permanently enjoins him from participating directly or indirectly in the issuance, purchase, offer, or sale of any digital asset security, provided, however, that such injunction shall not prevent Watson from purchasing or selling securities for his own personal accounts. And what we're seeing here is essentially a pump and dump scheme that happened with John McAfee and this former Marine, Navy SEAL, Blackwater guy, just security guy, all these other things. However, I have to say, if you look at Jimmy's TikTok, people are always saying on there, get Sean Ryan to interview this guy, get Sean Ryan, another notable Navy SEAL that has over 1 million people on YouTube that will watch this podcast, that essentially we have not seen him on there at all, which shows that Sean Ryan most likely has separated himself, along with Andy has separated himself from this guy, and it looks like the entire Navy SEAL community is looking to just black flag this guy and say he is never going to be part of the core people that do have a social media presence. So that's where I get to you guys on this Navy SEAL drama. What do you think about it, from the UFC fight issue that happened and the training between a UFC fighter and Navy SEAL, and then also the distraughtness of one Navy SEAL to another Navy SEAL and this fragmentation that we're seeing across social media as well. But as always, if you guys like what I cover here on the channel, make sure you guys always hit me up over on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.